There you go. You missed one channel, don't you? There it is. You got it. There it is. You can probably
Hey guys, we are here at our house and I am here with Evan from Stellar Floors, and Evan flew in all the way from Pennsylvania to be here today, and we're so grateful. I cannot wait to show you guys what flooring we chose, why we chose it. This is it. The living room is almost finished and we started this morning, which is incredible.
Yeah, around 9 o'clock this morning, and we're already kind of getting to the point where we're doing the finishing touches.
And so you invented, I want to show them this, you invented this system which allows it to go down very steadily.
Yep, so what this is the first ever full thickness hardwood floating floor. We're a solid hardwood, and we invented both the connector and the grooves that it mates with your board. So basically, you have the connector, you snap it into a board, another board snaps in right next to it, and you're joining the boards board to board instead of board to subfloor. This helps reduce the amount of gapping that you'd see between boards in like a normal hardwood floor as the seasons change.
Yeah, and if you look down, you can hardly even see some of the seams. And this flooring comes in 2, 4, and...
Yep, 6-inch intervals from 2 foot to 4 foot.
2 to 4 foot. And you hardly even see the seams. So just to tell you guys what we had before and why we chose this very quickly. We had an engineered flooring, like a laminate flooring with a veneer top. The previous owner definitely let some moisture areas happen, and naturally that started warping. So we also too just want this to feel like our home, so we're ready to make some changes. We wanted it to feel lighter, brighter, but more than that, we wanted to use a real wood. This is quarter sawn white oak, which I love.
Yep.
It's already so much brighter in here.
Yeah, it bounces light great. It really lightens up a room when you put it in. Quarter sawn's a great choice.
It makes it feel so much bigger. Yes, so tell us, okay, we were talking this morning. I want to teach people a little bit about quarter sawn cuts and what that means. So if we were looking at the top of a tree trunk, you can see these are the tree rings. And if you were cutting it, you cut it almost kind of like a pie.
Yep, exactly. Quarter sawn is a pie slice. And so what happens is you end up with the growth rings running up and down through the board instead of across the face. On flat sawn boards, which is the other way you could saw it, you'll have those big cathedral patterns of the grain. When you quarter sawn the same wood, it actually gives you an entirely different look. It's the same species, but it looks entirely different. It kind of gives you a neat turn of the crystal.
I love
see
it.
Yeah.
And it is denser, right? If you cut it quarter sawn, it generally means it could be denser.
Yeah, so what happens here is you have a density difference ring to ring. And so what you're doing, instead of you're laying these are your dense rings, those are your less dense rings. And in flat sawn, they would be laid this way. So what we're doing is we're transferring weight through solid, dense rings going down.
I love that.
And it's a little more stable than a flat sawn floor would be. It won't expand and contract as much.
Yeah, that's important because we do live in Texas. I mean, the weather can be pretty inclement, and we have children, so we need something really like a hardwood. I'm so super excited about this. Now, also, explain the Reflex. Some of these pieces, you guys, when you pick them up, you see these amazing patterns. It almost has like a tiger kind of striping on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell us what that means, or what Reflex are.
In a true quarter sawn wood, what you'll have is when the tree grows, it grows as a big cylinder. And there are cells that take food up and down the tree. And then there are cells that take food and water from the inside of the tree out to the surface. So those cells that go from the inside out to the surface are called ray cells. And so when you saw into white oak in that pie pattern, you end up exposing the surfaces of that Reflex, and you'll get some really neat patterns exposing the sides of those cells that are running from the core of the tree out to the bark. And it makes these beautiful light bounce regions that look really awesome.
It's so cool. And to me, I mean, at KLD, we're always talking about how design should tell a story. And I love the fact that we can literally see how the tree was nourished on our floor. And that to me is just a beautiful story of this tree. We're grateful for, the growth and the life that it had, and now how it's going to serve our family. And that kind of brings me to something that we also care a lot about on this channel, which is sustainability.
Right.
And so tell me a little bit about your milling process. I mean, the millers that you work with, and we'll just let him crawl around on the new floor. Bear's testing it out.
He's looking great, yeah. And flooring inspector, little flooring inspector. So basically what we do is we work with a lot of local mills, so we know where all the trees are coming from. And what you're looking at with this product is I wanted to make a floor that was all the great things about solid hardwood. Something that you could refinish, something that it could be a 100-year floor. You could have it down, it will live with your family, you could refinish it, you could do all that stuff, but I wanted to make that process easier, because then we're more likely to do it instead of tearing it up and throwing it away to put a new floor down. So the connector system has easy installation. You can do easy repairs because you can actually pull boards up out and then spot fix them before they get too bad. And then also you can pull boards up to replace them if there would be a scratch in the floor, so you could do spot repairs that way as well.
Yeah, and with all the years of Extreme Makeover and pulling in appliances at the last minute, I saw so many times when an installer would scratch the surface of a floor with a refrigerator, and it's like, oh my gosh, now what do we do with this? Now you have to replace an entire area of flooring, whereas your system allows us to be able to pull up a piece and replace it back.
Right, yeah.
So awesome.
Tongue and groove systems, usually when you go to replace one board, you end up damaging the boards around it. And so you end up replacing, like you said, a huge section of it, or having to refinish the whole floor. So what we've done is our connector system allows, I'm gonna need a little bit of space, allows you to take a tile suction cup, an industrial type suction cup, suction to a board in the middle of the floor, and then basically just pull that board out.
That is so cool.
And then you have your board here. If it was dinged or scratched, like say a stool tipped over and dented it, you could take another board of the same size from under a couch, or even a board that you had extra left over from the install, and you could put it down in that space and you'd be right up and going again. That's
awesome. He likes the spot. Okay,
Nice.
so the irony in this, and this is funny, you know the saying, the cobbler's daughter has no shoes? And so we have redemoed our kitchen, and I haven't designed a new one. So when we were talking about this, it's like, oh, are we gonna leave a space and put plywood down for the cabinets to go? Because generally you wanna put the cabinets down and run the flooring to it.
Right.
There's different philosophies, and I hear contractors say one or the other in their preference, but when we get to the kitchen design, which is gonna be like next weekend, I don't know, we'll be able to pull up the boards that are under the cabinet where I want cabinets to go, put down our subfloor and our plywood, and then just trim your pieces and put them right back in.
Right, and to be honest,
which is brilliant.
Yeah, I've heard from a lot of contractors different things. They want to run the floor clear underneath, that type of stuff. With our system, since you can pull that board up, you really don't want a cabinet sitting on it, because then you've got a board that's stuck. And if it's damaged, it's under your cabinet. So you're doing a great thing with looking to cut out and put a plywood thing to lift your cabinets up to level with the floor, and then just butt against it, because now all your whole kitchen area is going to be replaceable.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Okay, something else very cool you taught me. We're going to wrap up really soon, but something else cool you taught me this morning. I've been nerding out on hardwood flooring all day long, by the way. So you have a clear poly. I prefer, by the way, on a lot of woods that we do and custom furniture that we do, I like clear poly flat finish. That's what I don't want a glossy floor. Sometimes that works for people, but for me, I like the flat, kind of more rustic. I just want to see the wood instead of a gloss. But what's cool, on the underside of his pieces, you have a different sealed piece. And tell them what you told me this morning about warping, because we see floors and we see warping all the time in floors.
Right.
So what have you done here to fix that?
So a lot of hardwood floors will have an unfinished back. And what ends up happening with that is what causes warping in wood, there's a little bit of grain structure that goes into it, especially with things like cupping. But majorly what causes the warping in wood is uneven moisture gain. So it'll absorb moisture at the surface way faster than it can transfer that moisture into the core.
Okay.
And so it causes the wood to distort there.
At the bottom.
Wherever the moisture comes against, it'll start to grow, and this doesn't have water in it yet, so it stays put, and that kind of gives you that bow that you'll see if you set a board in water. But what the sealant does is it balances the water absorption on the surface with its ability to transfer water within the material. So even if the floor expands a little bit because you're a little more humid or contracts, you're not going to get that cupping or crowning that you would expect because the whole wood is growing at the same rate because we've regulated it at the surface.
So brilliant.
Yeah. And then the other benefit to it too is if you do have a spill or a leak or something catastrophic happen, this gives you time to come home, realize what happened, pull those boards up, clean up the leak, let the wood dry, and you can probably install those boards right back in without having any damage to them.
That's really good because we have 2 babies, so something catastrophic will definitely be happening.
I'm going to go ahead and install this one back in
Yes,
here.
on that note, this is just so, it truly is stellar. You have the right name. I love this product. It's going to be beautiful. We're putting it throughout. We're actually doing the hardwood floors in the kids' rooms too, because for all these reasons, I want it to be durable, and we'll throw rugs down, but we're really excited. Is there anything else we should cover?
Just the big thing about it is it gives you the ability to change your space. A lot of people look at the floor as the anchor. They've got to get it right the first time because if they change their design, you know, what if I stain that wrong? Oh, it's such a big hassle to change it. But this gives you the ability to do whatever you imagine, and you don't have to worry about your timeline. You're able to put your kitchen in after the fact. You didn't have to rush to design that because we can actually kind of roll with it.
It's a very flexible product.
Yes, yes.
It's a super flexible product.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited, you guys. Where can they find more information about you?
So if you go to our website, it's floorsbystellar.com, and you can actually find a lot of information there. We do have an Instagram post, which we can link to below. And then also you can buy floors right on the website. And so we ship directly to the job site. It's come to the website, buy a floor, we'll ship it to the job site when it's done, and then you can have it installed by any contractor, or even if you want to do it yourself.
That's awesome. Yes, you guys. Thank you, Evan, for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
It's such a blessing to our family, and I'm so excited. It just really, this is the foundation and the start of Joey and I getting to remodel our own home, and we really wanted to start with the floors, and this is it. So you've kind of started this amazing train for us where we get to make this house our own home, which I'm excited to continue showing you guys that process. So thank you for joining us. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.